Hi, this is lesson number 1 on C++. It's basically a C++ primer. Um, so C++ has been revised into a new standard, C++11, and that's what I'm using today in this integrated development environment. It's called Visual Studio. And the compiler has many of the features of C++11. So why do we learn C++? Well, Unreal Engine is a prime example of why you'd want to learn it, because you can interact with this 3D game engine using your code through code. Most game engines are built with C++, so you can't really build a video game without using it. So the reason I'm showing it is thewiselord.com, my site, basically is to show my art, design and programming skills for video games. C is a low-level language inherited from C. And the C++ also has a standard library for data structures and algorithms that are very important for building highly complex sort of games and stuff like that, game engines. So this editor, you basically type code in here, and over time you build up many source files and build it into a game engine, and you'll see that on the site going forward at some point. So let's get started with the first lesson. C++ has probably 5 basic elements: types, variables, expressions, statements and functions. We're going to cover those, and we're going to cover how to compile and execute programs, because this is just an introductory lesson. Eventually down the road we're going to build a bookstore program with ISBNs, copies sold and revenue for books. But first of all we need to cover a few C++ basics. So I'll start by writing a program. This is probably the simplest thing that you can write in C++. Oh, it's given that. So C++ main, open paren, close paren, and then return 0. So this is a program. And all it does is return a value to the operating system. This one here, 0. It has a return type, a function name, a parameter list, and a function body. So the parameter list is this thing here, highlighted in blue, inside the parens. And at the moment it's actually an empty parameter list. But down the road things get more complicated, and these parameter lists will become full of stuff. Then you've got a return type, which is this thing here, int. It represents integers, and it's a built-in type in C++. You've got the function body, this thing here. Whoops, let's get So it's a block of statements, starts with an open curly and ends with a closed curly. So this is the open curly, and down here is a closed curly. Let's highlight that again. The return type of the function is int. Zero is an integer. That's this thing here. This 0. And that's what's returned. Most operating systems return a value of 0 when they indicate a success that the program's completed, right at the end. So normally you'd have code on these lines here, and just the return 0 at the end to show that it's completed. Types are important. Most fundamental concept in programming defines the content of the data and the operations possible on it. This software is an integrated development environment, and if I go to help and then about, I can show you which version I'm using. Microsoft Visual Studio Community 2015 there. And I'm using the C++ feature of this integrated development environment. This software here is also the same thing that's used to write and build the code for Unreal Editor or Unreal Engine by Epic Games. That's why I'm interested in using it. You can also use Xcode to run that engine, and I'll probably show some of that down the road. So on the menu here, we've got a program written out, so we need to do something with it now. Does it actually do anything? That's the interesting thing. Under the build menu, you can see there's a build solution F7. So if you can either press F7 on the keyboard like that, or just go to build under the menu, whatever you want to do. And then we want to execute the program. We want to start debugging it. Now it's not going to do anything, it's just going to pop up a little black window to say that the program's been run, and then it's going to stop. Because it'll reach the end of this function body here after the 0 semicolon, and just close. So I can show that just by F7 and then F5, start debugging. That's also known as execute F5. So F7 is build or compile. Most C++ programmers use the word compile, but Visual Studio says build, and with with execution they call it debugging. So whatever you want to say really. So if I press F5 now, a little black window pops up, and that's it. So things have to get more complicated. That's very bare bones there. I'm just going to delete this. We'll show something else now. The C++ language doesn't define any statements to do I/O. That's input-output. So we use the standard library. Let me just look at my notes. I'm just pulling up some more code. The way we do that is hash include IO stream. So the name inside the angle brackets, that's this here, highlighted in blue, refers to the header, the IO stream header. If using a library facility, you need to include the header, and put all hash include directives at the beginning of the source file like we have here at the top. We want to use we're going to write a hello world program here, and we want to use two types. We want to use an object of type iStream named cin and an object of type oStream named cout. An expression, which I'll type in a second, yields a result. It's composed of one or more expressions and usually an operator. So std cout will show that. I'm just going to write some code here. So we do the same thing. Int main curly braces go in, and then std cout. You'll see these things pop up, which is Intellisense, because Intellisense can peer under the hood of the language and see what functions are available based on different namespaces and stuff like that, but we'll cover that later. We want cout. We've got the this operator here prints a message to the standard output. It takes two operands, an oStream object on the left, that's this, and a value to print on the right, and we'll type that now. So we want hello world, and we always end an expression or a statement with a semicolon. This is a message to the user, and it's a string literal. So this thing inside the quotes, it's a sequence of characters enclosed by double quotes. That's a string literal. We're using the standard namespace here. This is the std. Anytime you use a standard namespace in the standard library, you have to type std. And this here, highlighted in blue, is a scope operator. And it says we want to use a cout name defined in the namespace std. Right, if I compile this, it'll build, and then run it. You'll see something flash up, and you can see for a second there it printed it. But what we really want to do is make that hang so we can read the output on the line. And the way we do that is with cin. So we're going to write a value. We want to use std, and it's already bringing stuff up, so there it is. This operator reads data from iStream and stores it in an object. So we want to put it in an object. And an integer will do. So before we complete writing that line, we'll do int v1 equals 0. I'm going to explain the use of these equals sign and all that sort of stuff later, but for now all we're going to do is cin, and then we're going to store that in v1. So what the app's going to do is print this to the screen, and then it reaches this bit of code here, and the app waits for input from the keyboard. So as long as I don't press anything, the app will stay open and you'll be able to read the words hello world. And that's the whole idea of a hello world application. So F7 to compile or build, F5 to execute or debug, and there you have it. That's hello world. So to end this, if I do type something in an integer, let's say 2, and press enter, that'll end the application because it'll reach the end of this block here. You could also write return 0 if you wanted to. You get exactly the same result. So I'll type 42 this time. That's the answer to the ultimate question. Right. That's it. 16 minutes. That's the first C++ lesson. Thank you.